I'm Brenda. I am one of Michael's cousins, and I couldn't be there. So Debbie was kind enough to ask me to send in a tribute to honor Michael. So that's what I'm going to do. No one is perfect, and I surely include myself in that statement. I loved Michael very much, but sometimes I didn't like all of his choices, especially the ones that hurt the people who loved him so much. He lived his life his way for sure, and I guess in some ways I really admire him for that. But right now I really want to talk about the sweet, funny, happy go lucky Michael that I think everyone who ever met him knew. You really couldn't be in his presence without laughing. He had such a sharp mind and wit, and not only was he great at making others laugh, he was a really good audience for the stories of others too. And if you told him something, he remembered it, and he remembered in great detail. He was not just a talker, he was also a listener. Michael, his sister Debbie, my brother and sister, and I grew up together for a period of time. Our two families lived in the same house, and my memories of those times are very precious. And I felt like all us kids had a wonderful time playing together. The parents may have felt differently with five little kids running around, and I wouldn't blame them because we were a wild bunch. But I loved it, and I loved my cousins like they were my sister and my brother, and I still feel that way. We lived on the edge of an orange grove and often ran through the grove playing make believe, and life was really magical. One year for Christmas, the boys got cowboy outfits and us girls got cowgirl outfits. We had so much fun playing rodeo and pretending to ride horses, galloping around the yard. The boys also got toy trucks with plastic animals in the back, and we had many hours of fun playing outside with those toys. Once Uncle Larry, Michael's dad, made a go kart from a bunch of scraps. He was really handy like that. I think he even took the motor out of the lawnmower to make it actually run and run fast. I'm sure Aunt Jane was thrilled about that in retrospect. I never thought about that till just now, but I'm sure she wasn't real happy to lose the lawnmower motor to a go kart, but I'm sure she tolerated it as she always did. And Michael was very brave when it came to things like that. He hopped right on that thing and rode all over the property. And the rest of us just like stared with our mouths open because we were kind of scared to get in that thing, but he wasn't. I can still hear Michael's voice in my memory saying many times, "Watch this!" as he jumped out of a tree or swang from a rope. Swung? How do you do that? Maybe swung from a rope. I think I just made a word up. Or any number of other crazy things he thought up that we all went along with. He would try just about anything. I don't know if he didn't think about the consequences or if he just loved fun so much that he was always just full speed ahead. Michael was also exquisitely sensitive. I'm not sure everyone knew that about him, but he was very, very sensitive. And I'm sure he didn't want people to know that. I'm sure he tried to hide that, but many of us could see it. He hurt very easily, but pretty much kept it to himself when it happened. And now everyone, all of us kids have grown up and life has evolved and gotten more complex. Michael, like all of us, had a series of ups and downs. His best ups, of course, are his children, who I know he loved dearly and were a great source of pride for him. And when tough times came around, as they do for all of us, somehow he always managed to turn them into great stories or anecdotes. Even the toughest things, he could later, not in the midst of it, but later, he could make he could make it, not that he downplayed it, but he could make it something to reflect on, and he could find a positive in it. One of the most difficult times for him was when his mom got sick. He was by her side for months, taking care of her every need. He could have easily said, I can't do this. This is too hard. But he didn't. And he was there for her till the very end. And that was not an easy thing to do. And sadly, recently his body began to fail him. His son Chance was able to be with him, to take care of him. I'm sure Michael did not want to be taken care of, and it frustrated him to be dependent because he was used to doing what he wanted before he got sick. But I know he loved having Chance there with him. I know that was a great source of comfort for him. Then there's his sister Debbie, who has been devoted to her brother her whole life, encouraging him, supporting him, and loving him. And at times, he didn't make that easy. But she has been steadfast in her love. I know he knew that and was grateful to her for always being there no matter what. I've been told that Michael gave his life over to the Lord and was at peace. I find great comfort in knowing that. Knowing that he's in heaven and he's fine. Well, better than fine. He's whole now. He's not in pain. He's breathing easily. It's very sad for us, very sad and very hard for all of us left behind who miss him so very much. But he remains a part of our hearts and our memories forever. And Michael, know that whatever happened in your life here on earth, you were loved. And I'd like to read a passage from the Bible. The passage that keeps coming to mind for me, for some reason, this just keeps coming to my mind, is Psalms 100. The 23rd Psalm is beautiful and it's wonderful at a time like this, or any time really. But this one has been speaking to my heart for days when I think of Michael. So if you'll indulge me, I'd like to read this. Psalm 100. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know ye that the Lord, he is God. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people, and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless his name. For the Lord is good. His mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations. Love you, Michael. Farewell, and I'll see you someday in heaven.